north of the border. Oh, I love it. Oh, Canada. I just needed to do that, Joe. I don't know where that comes from, but I really do. Of all the national anthems besides the American national anthem, I really do love the Canadian national anthem. I get excited. I find myself singing it at the Preds games, NHL games. When they sing that, I kind of like it. It's a great one. Julia's there in Alberta, Canada. Julia, you're on the Ken Coleman Show.
Hi, Ken. Thanks for having me on the show.
You bet. You didn't expect that, did you? You didn't think you were going to be serenaded.
No, I appreciate your singing.
Not bad, huh? It wasn't bad, considering I didn't warm up.
Not bad.
All right. What's going on today? How can I help you?
So I've been working at my dream job since I graduated university 2 years ago. I've recently moved roles at my company. I'm on the same team, but I just moved to a role that required a bit more experience, and there was a replacement hired for the role I was in previously.
Mm-hmm.
The replacement was hired as an embedded contractor, and because of that, I was asked to sign her timesheet, and while doing so, I noticed that she's getting paid quite a bit more than me.
Ooh.
So I guess my question is, should I discuss this with my leader, or should I just accept it and move on?
Oh, yeah. This is about as yucky of a situation that you can face at work. I mean, it just is. Because there's no other way to say this. So I'm just going to call it what it is. This is a wound. You're like, what? They moved me in a position. They hired somebody to replace me, and this person's making significantly more than me. I mean, it's just, your brain's going nuts right now, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. What's your heart feeling?
Well, at first I was, definitely wounded and kind of embarrassed almost. But now as I've thought about it, I was happy with the pay that I accepted when I started at the role. So I don't know if it's really worth bringing up to my leader and possibly him taking it the wrong way, or if I should just pretend I haven't seen it and move on.
Well, I first of all, there's no pretending. So let's not try to pretend that we didn't see it, because I want you to actually deal with the rest of the emotions. I feel like you're doing a good job of this. I feel like you're very mature. I feel like you're very high character, and this sucks. But let's go ahead and own it, and let's go ahead and process it fully. I wouldn't bottle this up. I don't like the idea of talking about it to your leader, because I don't think that's something they wanted you to see. That is supposed to be very private and sensitive information. And while you did nothing wrong in how you came about that information, I also want you to understand that it's not personal to you. I've reported on this on the show. I've shared articles where this is happening more and more, and it happened a lot even in 2019 leading up to COVID, when we were at previously we were at the lowest unemployment in the history of this country. We had more jobs available than there were people that unemployed. We're now back in that same scenario where we got about 10.9 million jobs available and 8.4 million people unemployed. So when that happens, it's good old fashioned supply demand, which you learned about probably in 7th grade, right? And so companies are trying to get people in. And so as a result, to be more attractive to candidates, they are raising salaries. There's a move across the United States, and I would guess it's happening in Canada, where we're seeing a substantial bump in compensation. So what happens is, at no fault of yours, and really no fault of leaders, they're having to offer higher pay for something that they would have paid less for a couple of years ago. And you are, honestly, you're kind of smack in the middle of that example. It doesn't change the fact that it sucks and that it doesn't feel good. But I think what you've got to do is heal, process it. I would not bring it up to your leader. What I would do is focus on my future. And you're in a role right now and you go, where's next for me? And I'm going to focus on my future. And you know what I would do? I would take that knowledge that someone else is making this much and you go, okay, what's realistic for me in the work I want to do? And I'm going to aim for that. And I'm going to turn that into some fuel to drive as much value as possible to make as much money as I can. That's really all that you can do. If you don't do that, it's going to eat you alive. And you will eventually have to leave, because it's just every time you see this gal, or guy or whatever, whoever it is. It's just a reminder. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Let's talk about
advice.
what's your future real quick? I mean, where do you want to be?
Well, I'd like to continue moving up in the company, like to a more leadership role in
Great.
technical. And
Great. And you're on that path right now, yes?
yeah.
Okay, good. So here's the deal. Start focusing on how much money you're going to make when you step into that role. And it's going to be significantly more anyway. Yes?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I promise you it's not personal. Okay? Feels that way, but it's not. Because can I tell you something? It could have, honestly, we could have flipped it. You could have come into that role and replaced somebody else and got the same bump. It's just kind of the nature of the world we're in. You know what I mean? It's just, honestly, there's inflation going on in salaries too. That's what this is. And it's a supply demand issue. So, hey, keep your chin up, Julia. Your future is so bright. This is not personal, so don't let it stay personal, okay?
Okay, thanks, Ken.
You're
It means
awesome.
a lot to hear you say that.
Yeah, absolutely. You got so much value to give. But listen, I get it, and that's not fun. That is absolutely not fun.